Phillies landed in San Francisco late last night and then early this afternoon took the ride over the Bay Bridge to the Coliseum for the first of 3 games versus the Oakland A's. And this guy, Jimmy Rollins, grew up watching this team here in Oakland. Still a fan favorite, hoping his current team can continue to play spoiler. It's been a tough couple of weeks for the Oakland A's as they take on the Phillies tonight. And take a look at the wild card standings, which was once an 11-game lead for the Athletics, has been trimmed down to 1. The Mariners right on their tails, and they are in a tie with the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Phillies Baseball. Alongside Jamie Moyer, I'm Greg Murphy, and it has been a tough go. Just 24-32 since the All-Star break for the Oakland A's. But the big moment that everybody is pointing to is the trade deadline when they shook up their roster, Jamie. And at this moment, it really hasn't worked out that well.
Yeah, since August 10th, really, this Oakland ball club has really struggled, and a lot of it's been with their offense. And really, that was their strength coming up to that point of the season. And at the trade deadline here, you see the players that they got in return. I mean, Samardzija, Hamill, Lester, Gomes, and they traded away Yoenis Cespedes, who obviously they didn't realize was a big part of this offense. And now that they've lost him, they're trying to figure out a way to piece it all back together.
Their pitching has been very good, but there you see it. The August 9th date that you mentioned, 11-25 since then. Batting average down to 2.23. The team ERA is good, but this was a team that was scoring runs in bunches.
Yeah, they were. They were actually averaging over 5 runs a game. Now they're down to just over 3 runs a game, and they're in a pennant race. And this is what's fun about baseball. You get into these wild card races or division races, this is what creates the excitement in baseball. I love watching this kind of stuff, and hopefully tonight the Phillies can continue to be the spoilers for Oakland.
Well, they traded away Cespedes, and they got back in return a pretty good pitcher in John Lester. They wanted to bolster the rotation. They absolutely did with this guy. He's been everything that was advertised.
Yeah, John Lester, they knew what they were getting with John Lester, and again, here's a guy that's going to give you innings. He's going to be a leader, and not only is he going to lead in the clubhouse, he's going to lead on the field, and he's going to lead by example. And this is what's really important, because this guy, if these guys want to get to the playoffs and World Series, it's going to help them get there because he has that experience, and he brings a lot of experience to that. And you can see here what he's done since he's come to Oakland. Obviously, he had a very good year in Boston. Getting traded over here, 5-3 with a 2.30 ERA. Batting average against is 2.27. As you said, you know, they brought him here for a reason, and he's fulfilling that reason.
He certainly has. Well, the A's let the division slip away, but the wild card is still very much in their control. But they've got to get it right. David Buchanan's hoping he can keep that slide going, making his 19th start for the Phils, trying to improve that record to 7-7. We'll have lineups and first pitch coming up right after this. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com today to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank. Introducing one deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Budweiser. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. In Oakland, California, and they're expecting a full house as fireworks will be shot off after the game, and should be a terrific atmosphere for baseball here tonight. The A's and the Phillies. Tonight's starting lineup for your Phillies is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Ben Revere will lead off, play center field, followed by Carlos Ruiz, who do the catching, bat second. Chase Utley batting third, playing second base, followed by Howard, Bird. Grady Sizemore in the lineup tonight. He was a late add. Dom Brown was scratched. We'll talk more about that coming up. Darren Rupp will play first base, and he'll bat seventh. Michael Franco will play third base and bat eighth. Batting ninth is Freddie Galvis, the shortstop. And they will be taking on this guy, Jonathan Lester, who came over in the trade at the trade deadline from the Boston Red Sox. There you see his numbers in 30 starts for both teams, 15-10, an ERA of 2.45. And Jamie, he's been even better with the Oakland A's.
Yeah, he has pitched very well. And as I said in the open, this is what they were expecting out of John, and they're getting a lot of leadership. This guy he's in the top 10 in 10 pitching categories in the American League. 4-pitch pitcher, fastball at 92, curveball 75, cutter at 88, changeup at 85. He really relies on his curveball as an out pitch. He's got a 3-0 lifetime record against the Phillies with a 1.67 ERA.
So he'll take the ball for the Oakland A's tonight. And, the number one storyline in this area right now is the slide that is happening in and around the Oakland A's. This was a team that looked like they were going to run away with the division. They did not. Now they're in the battle for the wild card. And that brings us to our Nissan keys to the game.
Yeah, tonight my first key is the Phillies are going to have to deal with the DH. There's no pitcher in the 9-hole. And my second key is keep the A's in their tailspin.
Well, Ben Revere will lead off for the Phils. He'll be the first to face John Lester. 309 on the season for Revere with his 2 home runs. First pitch is on the outside corner for a strike.
First pitch.
And I feel like if there's any kind of an advantage tonight, John Lester has it because he's seen the Phillies a fair amount. If you go back to spring training games and the interleague play when he was with the Red Sox, he has seen the Phillies. He has a little bit of a history here.
Revere fouls that one off.
A lot of times in interleague play, if you're playing teams, especially like the Phillies and the American League West, you don't see these teams very often. So there's a lot of newness. Tonight, that newness isn't there with John Lester.
So we'll talk about some of the numbers versus Lester. Some of these guys that have faced him, not a whole lot of success up and down the Phillies lineup against John Lester. As that one is beat foul as the third base bag. So it's still 0-2 to Ben Revere. Revere, who struggled at home before the team took off for San Diego, has really kind of turned things around for himself and has started to hit a little bit better since being on the road. 313 on the road, 5 for 16. He has 3 RBIs in those 4 games in San Diego. So a good stop in San Diego for Ben Revere. Hoping he can continue it here in Oakland. The 0-2 pitch is outside for a ball. It's 1-2.
Murph, the other thing is the atmosphere here in Oakland. They just stopped as the pitch was being thrown with the drums. They've got horns, they've got cheers, they got their favorite players. It's a little different here than in most ballparks.
Another foul ball from Ben Revere, and that's a great thing. I mean, you don't have to tell Phillies fans about the atmosphere. They know all about it from Citizens Bank Park. As we take a look at our today's Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant. Her name is Inez McClanahan from Hatfield, Pennsylvania. If the Phillies hit a home run in this game, she will win $300. Good luck to Inez. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled away.
And another thing about playing here in Oakland, we might as well get all these things out of the way here early.
tell us all about it, because you've played here a lot.
The foul territory is far bigger. You see it right here, what I'm referring to, foul territory down the left field line. It's a long way to run. You can get a lot of free outs or extra outs right down here. It's a lot of foul territory. And it can really help a pitcher out.
But that outfield is huge. And I would imagine that ball skipping into the gap, they're going to roll for a while. So you'd like to see Ben Revere maybe, find one of the gaps. He might be running for quite some time.
Well, the Raiders play football here.
Yes, they do.
They just had played the other week. They have bleachers that they put out across the outfield as they play football here from bullpen to bullpen, kind of across that way through the infield. And with putting those bleachers out there, with the weight of the people sitting on the bleachers and the bleachers, it really hardens the outfield. So now when the ball's hit, whether it be down the line or in the gap, it's really going to skip through. Almost like playing on turf.
2-2 pitch. Fouls it off. Ben Revere stays alive. Norris thought maybe he had gotten that. Take another look. That did hit the ground. So a good call by the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy. And a good at bat so far for Ben Revere, if no other reason. 10 pitches already for John Lester. Actually, look at those pitches. They're flying. That's not right. I think it's 9 pitches right now. They were clicking. Yeah, that's a swing and a miss for a strike. So Ben Revere is down swinging, first out of the ball game. That'll bring up Carlos Ruiz. But despite the strikeout, saw some pitches from John Lester, allowed his teammates to do the same. So,
well, you saw there that last curveball looked like he took a little bit off of that curveball. He had thrown a couple curveballs a little bit harder. That one was a little more of a sweeper and had good depth, but it was a tad bit softer.
So Ruiz will step in from the right side. 258, 6 home runs, 30 RBIs for Carlos this year. The first pitch to him is a swing and a miss. Story coming out over the last 24 hours that Carlos has been dealing with a shoulder injury for the entire season. Something he did back in spring training. When the season's over, he's going to get it reevaluated. We'll figure out what kind of treatment that he'll need. But yeah, it just goes to show you how tough Carlos Ruiz is, playing with that left shoulder problem all season long.
Yeah, he's a trooper, and he doesn't really complain about it. He wants to play, and that's what you got to do when you're banged up.
It's inside for a ball. It's 2-1 to Carlos Ruiz. One pitch. It's outside for a ball. It's 3-1. Carlos's numbers against John Lester not good. 0 for 9 all time. 3 strikeouts. Looking to work perhaps a walk. It's 3-1 right now. 3-1 pitch is low for a ball, so he did just that. Carlos is the first base runner of the game. The Phillies are walking, and Independence Blue Cross wants to remind you to get active and get walking too. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. And that'll bring up Chase Utley. Utley 271 on the season. 11 home runs, 76 RBIs. Another guy that has struggled against Lester in his career, just 1 for 9, 3 strikeouts. Ruiz gets his lead off first. That pitch is hitting to left field. Coming hard is Brandon Moss, and that's going to fall for a hit. We told you how big the outfield was. Moss got a good jump on it, but wasn't able to close the gap, so that falls in for a base hit for Chase Utley. And the Phils have something going. Runners on first and second with 1 out here in the first.
Chase really didn't try to do a whole lot with that. It looked like he just tried to hit the ball to left field and got underneath of it a little bit. But as you said, left fielder playing rather deep. Brandon Moss, and long run, and it just landed inside the left field line for a base hit. The Phillies have men on first and second.
I thought he got a good jump and was going to be able to close the gap, but as you said, it's a long run, and Chase put it where he wasn't. And it worked out for him. So Ryan Howard is the batter now, the DH tonight. So we'll see Ryan out in the field. Designated hitter here in an American League Park. Runners on first and second. First pitch to Howard is over for a strike. Outside corner. Howard checked the swing, but as Conroy says, yep, that was a strike. So it's 0-2 now to Ryan Howard. Marlon Byrd waits on deck. Ruiz gets his lead off at second. Utley off at first. swing and a miss. Nope, he fouled that. Hit the ground. Just ticked off the end of the bat. We mentioned Chris Conroy behind the plate tonight. Jordan Baker over at first. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, is at second, and Bob Davidson down third base bag. That time, it's a swing and a miss, and Ryan Howard is down swinging for the second out here in the first. That takes us now to our Mazda leaders. And since 2008, wins in Major League Baseball, starting pitchers. Here you see John Lester, fourth on that list. That's a pretty good list. Verlander, CC Sabathia, Jared Weaver, and then John Lester. 104 wins since 2008. He's been good. He's terrific in Boston, as we know. And since coming over here, you mentioned, Jamie, he's been everything that they could have hoped, with the exception of the results for the team. It's been a good move.
Yeah, it's been a great move. And again, his experience, to a club that doesn't have a lot of guys on it that have playoff experience, the poise that he shows, the competitiveness that he shows. He's a healthy guy. He takes the ball every fifth day. Those are things that are important, especially when you get to this part of the season and trying to escalate yourself into the postseason.
Marlon Byrd down at the count, 0-1. Swing and a miss. Quickly, John Lester ahead of Marlon Byrd, 0-2. You look at that list of pitchers. One thing that jumps out at you is American League pitchers. CC Sabathia has played in both leagues during that time, but only Adam Wainwright on that list was a National League guy. There's been some good pitching in the American League over the past 5 to 6 years. The 0-2 pitch, it's foul. So we'll do it again.
Going to hit that ball off his foot, and then he twist his ankle when he was swinging right there. He's walking around there a little gingerly.
Marlon certainly doesn't get cheated on his swings. I understand how he might roll that ankle every once in a while. Lester gets his sign from Derek Norris. Time is called. Reed's in second. Now Norris wants to have a conversation with Lester. You know, I said it was a good move for the A's to bring John Lester in, and I guess fans here might argue that because of the way things have transpired so far. You know, they traded away their four-hitter, the guy right in the middle of their lineup, but they really believed that they had enough guys that could make up for that. It hasn't been the case yet. That said, this team makes the postseason. It's a pretty good starting staff that you're going into a short series with.
Yeah, you bring the arms that they have into a short series, the odds are in their favor.
That's what their thought was, as Marlon Byrd goes down swinging, so the Phils get 2 on, but they leave them both. Just 1 hit in the inning. We're going to head to the bottom of the first. No score. back-to-back division titles under his leadership, 2+ seasons here in Oakland. As we take a look at his starting lineup tonight, brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. The veteran Coco Crisp will lead off, play center field. Right fielder Sam Fuld will back to second. Josh Donaldson is playing third base, he'll bat third. Adam Dunn is your DH tonight. Brandon Moss playing left field, he'll bat fifth. Stephen Vogt plays first base, and he'll bat sixth. Jed Lowry batting seventh, playing shortstop. Derek Norris is the catcher, he bats eighth. And the second baseman, Eric Sogard, batting ninth. And David Buchanan will make the start for the Phillies, trying to get back to that 500 mark. 6-7 on the season, 3.75. His 19th start. He's over 100 innings, Jamie, so far this season for a guy that came about 1/3 of the way through the season and then went back down to AAA. But all in all, for a rookie season, David Buchanan has been very good for the Phils.
Yeah, he has been I don't want to say outstanding, but he's been very consistent, and it's really what the Phillies kind of been looking for. And I think he's going to fit in. He's fit in here nicely this season, but he's done a great job. They're expecting him to do a great job down the road. 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, curveball, cutter, changeup, and a competitor. He's got 3 earned runs or less in 13 of his starts.
He'll face Coco Crisp, who grounds that one to first base. Darren Ruff takes it by himself. 2 pitches and 1 out here in the first.
You got to like that. And I think talking to one of their coaches today was saying that Coco Crisp has been battling neck problems off and on this season. He's actually crashed into the wall twice. Yeah. And his neck and upper back have been bothering, but he refuses to go on the DL.
He wants to play, that's for sure. He's in there tonight. Sam Fuld is the batter now, right fielder, batting .248, 4 home runs, 36 RBIs. Came over from the Twins in July. He's been good for the Oakland A's. Provides some offense for them for that 2-hole. Buchanan, who works quickly, the 1-1 pitch inside for a ball. It's 2-1. Pitch inside for a ball, so it's 3-1 to Sam Fuld. Josh Donaldson, the right-hander, waits on deck. One pitch, line shot. No, nice ups by Darren Ruff, who's able to grab the line drive for the second out. Got about a foot off the ground, I would say. Don't you think?
Nice place. Nice play. He was positioned in the right spot here. And has some hops and gets up and catches that ball. I don't want to say easily, but he makes a nice play on it.
Well, we've said it time and time again. Darren Ruff plays a real solid first base. He's been real good in left field as well in the times that he's played out there. Certainly improving out there on left field, but first base, his natural position, he is very solid down there. Pitch to Donaldson is a fair ball. Franco falling backwards the stretch, and they got him. What a play by Michael Franco. The ball bounces over the third base bag. He's falling back to make the throw. A strong arm and the third out. Take another look. Going hard to his right. Stop the throw. The stretch by Ruff. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for David Buchanan. Final games of the year, Friday, September 26th at 7:05. Saturday, September 27th, Goya Latino Family Celebration. And then Sunday, September 28th at 1:35, Fan Appreciation Day. Tickets are available. You can order your tickets now at Phillies.com. So Grady Sizemore will lead off the top of the second inning for the Phillies. Sizemore was a late add into the lineup, as we mentioned. Don Brown, his hand that he injured diving and making a play in San Diego, wasn't going to allow him to go tonight, so he was scratched. Sizemore slid in to his spot. There you see Don Brown. Doesn't appear to be anything serious, but they'll give him the night off. The one pitch to Sizemore's outside for a ball. It's 1-1.
We were talking about, where John Lester, he ranks in, like you said, 10 of the top 10, or 10 in the top 10 of 10 categories for American League pitchers. I knew I could get that out.
I know exactly what you mean.
But it's pretty impressive. He's third in ERA at 2.45, fifth in strikeouts with 206, sixth in innings at 205 2/3. Opponents on base percentage 281 clip, tied for sixth in wins with 15. Strikeout to walk ratio 4.48. Opponent's batting average 235. I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, and this is why you're trading for a guy like this.
Yeah, they as we said at the open at the beginning, they got what they were hoping to get when they brought in John Lester. It's just that their offense, which had been absolutely unbelievable in the first half of the season, has really started to go south, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. Certainly Cespedes not being in the lineup right there in the middle, offering some protection for some guys is part of it, but they still have some talented offensive players on this team, and Bob Melvin's been talking about it. Somebody's going to need to step up, and they're going to need to kind of right this ship. But the Phils, they're in a position now to play spoiler, and that's what they're hoping to do this weekend. So Sizemore draws the walk, so he's a base runner. Nobody out here in the top of the second. Darren Ruff, first baseman. A couple nice plays in the bottom of the first. There you see 247, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. First pitch to Ruff is outside for a ball.
And John Lester's one of those guys, if you're going to get him, you got to get him early. And you heard a lot of people say that about Roy Halladay. If you don't get him early, he gets tougher. And I really believe that's John Lester's MO as well.
Pitch to Ruff is fouled off on the right side. So it's 1-1 to Darren Ruff.
And the other thing in this ballpark, Murph, is notice the bullpens. They're just off the foul lines down each side. But the guys are sitting almost in the stands. And you see here's the A's bullpen right there. It's a lot different. And I've been out there. I enjoyed sitting out there, except when it gets cold here.
Yeah, which it can do.
Yes.
Although it is a beautiful night tonight. It was 67 degrees. First pitch. And you see the bullpen.
And when it gets cold, actually they have a little white heater down there at the far end, far left, in the Phillies bullpen. There you go. When it gets chilly, that thing
fired up.
Keeps them warm.
The count is 1-2 to Darren Ruff. Grady Sizemore leads off first. Lester from the stretch inside for a ball. It's 2-2.
And both of those bullpens are full right now.
Yes, they are. As bullpens tend to be in this time of the year in September. It's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Q shot to first. Vogt goes to second for one. Back to first. Double play. What a play by the A's. Some good defense. And they get the double play. It goes 3-6-3 on the double play.
Batting in the eighth position, third baseman.
Really nice play by Stephen Vogt down there. Take another look.
Yeah, Ruff gets a curveball off the end of the bat, and Vogt is in a great position where he catches that ball. He's in the grass. John Lester almost got in the way right there, but Vogt's in a great position already to, when he catches it, to make that throw. He just has to turn his body and make the throw to second and quickly get himself back to first to get the return throw. If you can keep the pitcher out of that play, it's always good to be able to do so.
Cal Franco steps in. I had a double check to see if it was 3-6-3 or 3-6-1 because Lester was right there, but Bo was able to get back and make that play. So a real nice play all the way around. 2 outs here, top of the second. 1-0 count to Franco. It's over for a strike.
That double play right there was the 21st double play that Jonathan Lester has induced this year as well.
He needed that, you know. Take a look at his pitch count already here in the second inning. So anytime you can get 2 outs on one play, it helps your pitchers. Franco fouls that one straight back. Take a look at the Toyota Major League scoreboard, and the Tigers all over the Royals. Bottom of the 5th in that game, and fans here, when they see that score, they'll like that because right now we showed you the wild card standings. The Royals right there involved. 1-2 pitch is on the inside corner, called, third strike. Chris Conroy said yes. Franco thought it was inside, but John Lester gets the strikeout, and once again pitches out of a little bit of trouble. So John Lester, no score right here as we head to the bottom of the second.
All right, A's fans, get ready for more from Shrimp.
They host their conference rival, the Houston Dynamo. Union versus Dynamo, Saturday night at 7 only on the Comcast Network. We see a beautiful night here in Oakland. As you said, they expect a full house here. It's a late arriving crowd. They're still filing in, but should be a pretty good atmosphere for baseball tonight as Adam Dunn steps in against David Buchanan. You see his numbers on the season: 223, 22 home runs, 61 RBIs. Just 2 home runs since arriving in Oakland. But talking to some of the folks around the Athletics, they really like the addition, not just on the baseball field, but inside that clubhouse as well. A guy like Adam Dunn really brings a lot of positivity to a clubhouse as he hits that one back up the middle. And Freddie Galvis was playing over behind second base on the shift, but no play. Went off the glove of David Buchanan, so that's a base hit up the middle for Adam Dunn, and he is the first base runner for the Oakland A's tonight. Take another look.
Well, here's a ground ball right back at David, and unfortunately, you know, he's locked in there. He's really on his left foot. He really can't react to it. And, you know, it really is a comebacker, but like you said, he wasn't able to react to it off his body and back through the middle.
Hit off his backside and shot out to center field. Galvis didn't really have a play on it anyway, as it skipped past him as well. So he's the first base runner. Brandon Moss is the batter, and he hits one right field. Marlon Byrd has a beat on it. Gets it in, and one pitch and an out for Brandon Moss. And speaking of Moss, he is the subject of our Geico quote of the day on the struggles of the A's. When you're in a race, that kind of baseball is supposed to be fun, but I don't see anybody in this clubhouse having any fun right now because it's not. I guess not. When you're losing 2 out of every 3 games you play, and you're watching your lead in the division slip totally away, as the Angels have already clinched. And then the wild card, they had an 11-game cushion in the wild card. It is now down to 1.
Well, they just got swept by the Texas Rangers, who have really struggled mightily this year.
Stephen Vogt steps in. First pitch to him is over for a strike. Breaking ball.
Somebody needs to step up and be the hero. I think is really what they're looking for. And they have enough experience on this ball club. Plus, they have a lot of talent. So they've been able to do it in the past. I'm sure they're going to be fine. It's just a matter of keeping their heads above water here.
It's interesting to watch down the stretch, and I still think they could be a team to be reckoned with if they do indeed get into the postseason.
Well, especially with their starting rotation, Murph. Yeah. We talked a little bit about it before the game. You got guys like Sonny Gray and Jason Hamill, Scott Kazmir, John Lester, and Jeff Samardzija in your rotation. It's pretty special. And then this guy by the name of Drew Pomerantz, who they traded for with the Colorado Rockies. We're going to see him tomorrow night pitch. Big lefty.
3 straight lefties here for the Oakland A's against the Phillies. So we'll probably see a lot of Darren Ruff as well. We've talked a little bit about that. Count is 3-1 to Stephen Vogt, who has played catcher for the A's, but he injured his foot. He's not able to catch right now, but they like his bat in the lineup, so they've got him down there at first base. Pitch to Vogt is low for a ball, so 2 runners on now with 1 out here. Jed Lowry will step to the plate. So a base hit and a walk after a 1-2-3 inning in the first for David Buchanan. Well, the most popular way to follow the September pennant races is with MLB.com At Bat, #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, replay reviews, scores, live radio broadcasts, the MLB.TV Game of the Week, and more. Get At Bat for your smartphone or tablet on the App Store or visit MLB.com. There you see the runners. Vogt done first and second. Lowry, the shortstop, steps in. 244, 6 home runs, 46 RBIs on the season for Lowry. First pitch to him, it's over for a strike. Misses outside for a ball. It's 1-1. The A's have also had their share of injuries. You mentioned Coco Crisp and his neck and his inability to stay on the field. Lowry broke his finger in August and missed a little bit of time over there at shortstop. I mentioned Vogt can't catch right now because of an injured foot. That one is fouled back, and it's 1-2. So a whole lot of everything. The perfect storm. It's kind of all come together to cause the slide in Oakland.
When you're playing 162 games, you're going to run into that, and it's you got to figure it out. You got to try to figure it out as a manager. You got to figure it out as players. Sometimes players have to play out of position. The games have to be played, and you just got to find a way.
This is what Lowry had to say about the struggles. I'll give you a second Geico quote of the day. We have to have a short memory, forget what's happened in the last month. The good thing is we're still in a position to make the playoffs. Just need to try and hit the reset button. Everybody take a deep breath and move forward. How many times do you think someone said in that clubhouse or in that dugout, all right, guys, just take a deep breath. We got this.
Well, it's really interesting, when nobody is struggling, when you're just playing baseball, and it feels like, well, maybe there isn't as much meaning for the games early in the season. Nobody really talks about it. You just go out and play. Now you get to the end of the season, you're realizing you get to the end of the season. Here's a very good changeup here by David Buchanan for strike 3 and Jed Lowry. But when you get to the end of the season, all of a sudden it feels like the games have bigger meaning. Well, the games in the beginning of the year have the same amount of meaning. So throwing games away early in the year or letting them slip away is just as important then as it is late in the game. But what I'm trying to get at is everybody all of a sudden has opinions at the end of the season to say, well, this is what we should do. This is what we should. How about we just go out and play baseball?
Yeah. Go out and try to do the kind of things, that helped you jump out to that huge lead in both your division and the wild card. Take Knocks that one over for a strike. Does Derek Nurse, the catcher. 269, 10 home runs, 53 RBIs.
When you look at teams that win, they usually pay attention to detail. They don't miss things. You know, they bunt, they hit guys, they get guys over. You know, whether it's via the fly ball or sac fly or hitting behind base runners. Pitchers make good pitches, defenders make good plays. If everything's really consistent, there's a flow to it. When you're struggling, all of a sudden, you know, there's finger pointing. Everybody has an opinion. Sometimes, you know, your team can be broken apart into little groups, and guys are talking about certain things or certain people, and it creates a bad chemistry.
Winning cures all.
It sure does.
They get back to winning ways. They actually have a pretty favorable schedule the rest of the season. So, well, it's 0-2 right now to Derek Norris. Buchanan high for a ball. It's 1-2. Buchanan gets the sign from Carlos Ruiz. Dunn takes his lead off second. Vogt off first. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, line drive into right field. Marlon Byrd on it quickly. Dunn is going to be held at third, then Byrd drops it, so the run is going to score. The throw comes to third. Vogt is safe at third. And that's going to be an error on Marlon Byrd because Dunn was stopping at third base until that ball was bobbled out there, and that allows the run score. First score. Marlon Byrd probably thinking I'm going to come up and fire, but he wasn't able to handle that ball bouncing along the ground.
Well, that ball was hit hard. Marlon came charging hard, but what happens on this field here, that ball starts to snake. When this grass is cut as tight as it is, you know, Dunn right here, you see Dunn just rounding, actually was around third when Marlon picked the ball up the second time. So he scores easily. But as I was saying, that the way this grass is cut, the ball snakes in the grass. And so you, as an outfielder, you have to slow yourself down a little bit so you can follow and track that ball to pick it up clean.
Eric Sogard steps in, second baseman. Take another look as it bounces along. Yeah,
but it actually came up on it.
Yeah, it skipped up on top. I really thought Dunn was stopping. They have not put an error up on the board yet, so at this point, no error on.
He slowed. He didn't stop. He slowed down.
Yeah. So runners at first and third. Sogard was that one foul.
And here's something different, especially for David Buchanan. Normally, there'd be a pitcher in this slot. You'd be facing John Lester. Now you've got Eric Sogard in this position right here. You know, he's a hitter. You're facing that extra hitter, playing against an American League team. So again, you have to manage this game a little differently than you would a game in the National League.
1-1 pitch is line drive past the diving Michael Franco into left field. And another run will score as Vogt crosses the plate just out of the reach of Franco. Just like that, the A's have a 2-0 lead. So there you go. Your 9-hole hitter coming through. Sogard with batting just .220 on the season, but able to fight that one off and hit that one down the left field line.
Yeah, and that's what Eric Sogard does. You know, he's a singles guy. Very good, very sound defensive second baseman, and just punches the ball around the infield. He gets a curveball there, just out of the outstretched glove of Michael Franco at third base for a single to drive in Stephen Vogt.
Great camera angle down there in the left field line. Perfect stuff. So 2 runners on, first and second, 2 runs across. Batter is Coco Crisp. Led off the game, ground ball to first base. Darren Ruff handled it himself. First pitch to Crisp is over for a strike, so it's 0-1. 2 on, 2 out. Bottom of the second, 2 across. The 0-1 pitch on the inside corner for a strike, so Buchanan ahead of Crisp, 0-2. leads off second. Sogard down there at first. Cannon ahead. 0-2 on Crisp. Outside for a ball. It's 1-2.
David Buchanan's thrown 24 pitches this inning so far.
It's our 1-2-3 first innings. Faced 7 batters so far in this inning. Hoping that Crisp is the last one. Pitches inside for a ball. It's 2-2. Crisp's been around a long time. Veteran player for the A's. Not the same player he used to be. His power numbers are way down. It's 9 home runs this season. But still gets on pace a lot.
And still a very good defensive center fielder.
Very good. Pitch swung on, back up the middle. Tough play for Gallus. Utley off of Utley's leg. 1 run is going to score. Sogard's going to have to stop at third. That was a seeing eye single, and then a shot off of Utley's leg and out in the left field. That allowed runners to move up to the corner. So another base hit for the A's, and they've got a 3-0 lead here in the second. That's going to prompt a visit to the mound. As you see, out of the reach of Galvis, then off the leg of Utley. That allowed, well, Norris scored, and Sogard was able to move to third on that. So again, runners on the corners, first and third. And Sam Fold will be the batter. He lined out to Darren Ruff in his first at bat. Is that Rod Nichols? Conversation?
Yes, it is.
Is it? Yes, it is. And Rod Nichols out chatting to David Buchanan, which we'll try to find out why Bob McClure's not having that conversation, but so Fold steps in. I mentioned he lined out in his first at bat on a nice play by Darren Ruff. 8th batter of the inning. First pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1. Cannon's getting ahead of these guys.
It's a matter of putting them away.
Yeah.
When you get guys that have experience, and the experience that some of these Oakland A's hitters have, they become better hitters with that experience with 2 strikes.
Pitch is low for a ball. It's 1-1.
Talked a lot about that with the Pittsburgh hitters when we had this series, that most recent series at home, and noticing that series where when their hitters got to 2 strikes, their approach changed. Their swing shortened. They choked up on the bat, and they just tried to put the ball in play. And you see that here, today with that actually the ball that Norris hit to right field. And I thought that, 1 and 2, he got a fastball, and he just, all he tried to do is push the ball the other way, hit it hard, drove in a run. I mean, that's what you do.
And Buchanan gets the strikeout of Fold, but the damage has been done here in the bottom of the second inning. 3 runs across for the A's. Just like that, they have a 3-0 lead as we head to the top of the third. section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. The question tonight is, which 3 former Athletics managers are in the Baseball Hall of Fame? That answer will be revealed later in the game. This is a good one. I think you're going to get it, but I think you're going to have to think about that third one for a minute or two. Freddie Galvis will be the first to face John Lester here in the top of the 3rd inning. Lester now with 3 runs to work with. Galvis has good numbers in limited at bats against John Lester. He's 2 for 3. One of those is a home run. So batting 156 on the season, 3 home runs. Over the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-1 to Freddie Galvis.
You're right, Murph. I think I have 2 of them.
Yep, that third one's gonna.
Third one.
You're gonna get it. I'm gonna take your phone away though. Galvis hits that one into center field. Coco Crisp and Fold come together, and Fold makes the call and catches, makes the out. Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. So one quick out here in the top of the 3rd. Ben Revere, the top of the order. Revere struck out in his first at bat. Still batting .309 on the season. 47 stolen bases for Ben, who's talked about trying to get to that 50 mark. Be the first Philly to do that since Juan Samuel. First pitch to Revere, high and inside for a ball. There's Sammy. He could run. Juan Samuel. Ben Revere swings and hit the line drive to left field. Closing the gap is Brandon Moss for the 2nd out. So 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 3rd. I think Revere thought maybe that one was going to fall in there. Carlos Ruiz will be the batter now. He walked in his first at bat.
He actually hit it too hard.
Yeah. Juch will step in. He was the Phillies' first base runner in the first inning, where the Phillies got runners on 1st and 2nd, but weren't able to advance them past that. Lester has his sign. First pitch to Carlos. Outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Grounded foul. You see the bullpens down the left field line. That's the A's bullpen down there. Of course, Phil's down the right field line, as you talked about earlier. Breaking ball's over the corner. It's 1-2 now to Carlos Ruiz. A little bit different than Wrigley, who also has the bullpens down the line, but not a whole lot of room in Wrigley. There's plenty of room here. Fouls that one back. Carlos asks for time and he steps out. Lester and Norris had a little trouble getting on the same page. Back in there now. It's a 1-2 count to Carlos Ruiz. Outside for a ball. It's 2-2. Got a lot of room up here too.
We do.
Don't we? Nice.
Nice vantage point.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and lofted foul down past the 3rd base bag. Going over for it is Donaldson, but that's going to run out of room. Just over the tarp, about 4 rows deep. Souvenir. It's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Show you one of those photos a little bit later on in this game. Two outs. 2-2 count to Carlos Ruiz. Nobody on. Lester. Inside for a ball. So a full count. Now to Carlos Ruiz. Chase Utley waits on deck. It's the Phil's only hit tonight. Flare going down the left field line as well in his first at bat. 3-2 pitch. Foul back. Swing and a miss. He got it. Carlos Ruiz goes down swinging to end the third inning, and John Lester thrown a lot of pitches, but has a 3-0 lead. Take another look. Carlos can't catch up to that one. 3-0 A's. We head to the bottom of the third. McDonald's. Any size, hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's. I'm loving it. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Delaware Valley Honda. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shop honda.com. Bottom of the third, the A's with a 3-0 lead over the Phillies. A big bottom of the second inning for them as we welcome you inside the booth. See how much room we have? Yeah. Craig Murphy alongside Jamie Moyer. In for Tom McCarthy, who's going to be calling the NFL again this weekend down in Jacksonville, Florida, is Tom. So we'll be here with you all weekend long. In a place that you've played many a baseball game, Jamie Moyer. And I would imagine this is a place that you enjoyed pitching.
I did enjoy pitching here. The mound is one of the best mounds in the league. It feels like you're standing up on a stage. Big outfield and a big foul territory.
Yeah. So you mentioned you get a lot of those extra outs when you have that. You have that much room down the line. The thing
that's nice about here is the cooler weather.
I'm not complaining.
It's really nice.
It is just about perfect here tonight. It was 67, we said, at the first pitch tonight, and it hasn't gotten much cooler than that after a real nice day. We're staying over in San Francisco. Take the trek over the Bay Bridge to Oakland tonight.
Or take the BART.
Well, we're going to try that tomorrow. Right?
It's a fun ride.
Pitch is over for a strike. Josh Donaldson is the batter, third baseman for the A's. The only Oakland batter that didn't appear in the bottom of the second inning.
Got some Philly fans here.
Pitch is swung on. Fly ball center field. Ben Revere settles under it. That's the first out here in the third inning. Friday night here in Oakland, and after the game, some fireworks here at the O.co Coliseum, which we learned tonight is Overstock.com. the website. They're the sponsor of this ballpark nowadays. Adam Dunn nearly hit him. It did hit him. Won't take his base. So one pitch to Adam Dunn, and he trots on down to first base. That one got away from Buchanan. It's his 7th hit batter this year for Buchanan, and there's one out base runner.
He's looking, trying to get a fastball down.
Did that hit him? I don't know that it did.
Yeah.
Take a look. It sure didn't look like it, and if it did, I guess it grazed his pant leg. That is reviewable, but
I don't know how you do it.
Not at this point in time. No, it'd be hard to tell. So there's Conroy's right there on top of it. Maybe he heard something. Certainly couldn't hear it up here. So Brandon Moss is the batter. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Flew out to right field. Back in the 2nd inning. Adam Dunn's on first. Brandon Moss, who has been so good for the A's over the past 2 seasons, really struggling right now. Although he did show some signs of coming out of it. Homered in back-to-back games earlier this week. That was a good sign for the A's and for Moss. He's 25 home runs this season, 80 RBIs, but most of that came in the first couple months of the season. They need him to get it right for sure. Swing and a miss, and he goes down swinging. So the 2nd out is recorded here, and that's the 3rd strikeout for David Buchanan. Well, nonstop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2014 postseason beginning September 30th. Some teams have already clinched, we know. Some teams, like the Oakland A's, still fighting to be there. But one thing we know for sure, the baseball postseason, even when the Phillies aren't in it, it's still pretty good. So Stephen Vogt is the batter. Dunn takes a big lead off first. First pitch to Vogt is over for a strike. It's 0-1. Vogt walked his first at bat and scored a run. Gets his sign from Carlos Ruiz. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled. It's 1-2 now to Stephen Vogt. Buchanan continues to get ahead of batters. Able to put them away consistently. Even. Check swing, and Conroy says, yeah, you went around. So that's the 4th strikeout for David Buchanan. So a nice bounce back inning, able to pitch around the hit batter, and just like that, 4 batters, and they get out. Phil's still trail it 3-0 as we head to the top of the 4th. Maintenance player specializing in all of your cleaning needs. WB Mason also provides a full selection of 3M safety products that can't be struck out. Who but WB Mason? Top of the fourth, the A's with a 3-0 lead. Star Wars night here in Oakland. Star Wars night is making its way around Major League Baseball. I feel like it's following us everywhere you go. We saw Darth Vader throw out the first pitch. Not nearly as effective as he did in Philadelphia, for the record. That's Chewbacca, as you know. Everybody's into Star Wars night, Jamie. Chase Utley?
Most everybody.
Most. You're not?
We're into the game.
There we go. Chase Utley will lead it off here in the top of the fourth. First pitch from Lester is over for a strike. It'll be Utley, Howard, and Bird, 3, 4, and 5 for the Phillies. Just one hit on the night for the Phils. It was Chase Utley. Kind of flared one down the left field line. It fell in for a hit in front of Brandon Moss. That pitch is over for a strike. So Lester ahead, though. Chase Utley 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Going outside for a ball. It's 1-2. During the inning break, folks up on the big screen here, we're trying to get this crowd up on their feet and try to get some noise. It's a big crowd, but it's a quiet one right now.
Yeah, it's a little unusual for me. I really thought, and my recall from being here, there's always a lot of energy in this ballpark.
1-2 pitch, grounded foul. That's Juan Samuel. I guess they've got to be a little bit tentative with everything that's been happening over the past couple of weeks. But if the season ended today, this is a playoff team. Remember that. They're still in the driver's seat.
A lot of green and yellow here.
A lot of green. Some red, too, sprinkled in. 1-2 pitch, Utley. Breaking ball. Fouls it off. There were a lot of Philadelphia Phillies fans in San Diego. A 4-game series there. And I've already seen a couple folks who were in San Diego who are here tonight. West Coast swing. 1-2 pitch. Ground ball. Second base. Sogard is up with it. Fires Utley out at first for the first out of the inning. Well, before the Eagles take on the Redskins, break down the plan of attack on Eagles pregame live. After the game, Eagles postgame live has Coach Kelly and Nick Foles. Reactions plus analysis, total Eagles coverage Sunday starting at noon on Comcast Sportsnet. Eagles hoping not to fall behind in the first half and have to play the role of comeback kids. Just take the lead in the first half over those Skins and roll with it. Ryan Howard swinging and hits that one deep. Center field. Crisp is back to the wall, and that one is gone. Straight away center field. Ryan Howard, first pitch swinging. No doubt about it. That is not an easy poke. This is a huge yard. You're watching batting practice, but Ryan Howard able to hit number 22 on the season. And with that home run, Inez McClanahan from Hatfield, Pennsylvania, you just won yourself $300 courtesy of the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Number 3, Marlon Bird.
Now, this is a big ballpark, Murph, as you said. And the ball doesn't really carry here that well at night. And Ryan barreled that ball, Coco Crisp, back to the wall, waiting for it to come down, and ran out of real estate. And you see Ryan with full extension, catches that ball out in front and drives it to dead center field.
So that's Howard's 22nd home run of the season, his 93rd RBI as Marlon Bird fouls that one off. He had been 1 for 9 against John Lester with 5 strikeouts coming into that at bat. So saw a pitch he liked early in that. Took care of it. About 415 feet, I think, straightaway center field.
It was a little bit of ways up that wall, that back wall.
Marlon Bird gets that one to right field, and that's going to fall in for a hit in front of Fold. So Marlon is aboard at first base. So back-to-back hit for the Phils, and that'll bring up Grady Sizemore. Howard talking about that with Tony Gwynn Jr.
Number 24, Grady Sizemore.
Been a little while since Ryan has gone deep, so that is good to see. The DH role tonight in that cleanup spot.
I like seeing him hit it to center field too.
Yeah, that was a real nice swing.
As you saw, got really good extension on that. Didn't look like he tried to overswing. Got his front foot down. Good solid contact.
So Grady Sizemore steps in. Phillies get one back here. Top of the 4th inning. Swung on and fouled off, so it's 0-2 now to Grady Sizemore. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. 0-2 count on Grady Sizemore. Marlon Byrd down at first base. He singled right after the Howard home run. Outside, a little bit low. 1-2 to Grady Sizemore. Darren Ruff waits on deck. Time is called by Sizemore. Marlon Byrd was creeping out there at first base. Unless you're trying to keep an eye on him, trying to keep him close. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got it. So that's the second out of the inning. Sizemore goes down swinging.
Just an old-fashioned fastball here. Gets it away, probably the outer third away, and actually just beats Grady with a fastball.
Yeah, it looked like he missed the spot a little bit, but Sizemore swung right through it. So that'll bring up Darren Ruff. Ruff grounded into that 3-6-3 double play in his first at bat. First pitch is inside. Ball. 1-0. Darren getting this playing time past couple of days because Phils have seen a steady diet of left-handed pitching.
And we'll see some more.
That's right.
Tomorrow.
And the next day. All 3 starters in this series left-handed. Ruff fouls that one back. It's 1-1. Darren told reporters earlier in the week that he'll be headed to winter ball, headed down to the Dominican Republic to get some at-bats, says he wants to get some at-bats against right-handed pitching. We've seen a lot of left-handed pitching so far this season, but not a whole lot of action against the right-handers. He wants to be an everyday player. He's going to need to be able to produce against those right-handers, so he's going to head down there, spend a couple weeks. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on. Fly ball center field. Coming in hard is Coco Crisp, and he'll make the catch. So the Phils leave one on, but they're able to get up on the board because the big fella, Ryan Howard, turns on this pitch and hits it a long way to straightaway center field. His 22nd home run of the season, and the Phils are on the board. They trail it 3-1. Chevy plus Ford stores. Go further. By the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. And by AT&T. Mobilizing your world.
Leading off the bottom of the fourth inning.
Bottom of the fourth, the A's with the 3-1 lead. 4 hits for the A's, 3 for the Phils. Beautiful Bay Bridge connecting San Francisco and Oakland. Jed Lowry will be the first one to face David Buchanan here in the bottom of the fourth. Lowry struck out in his first at bat. Swings at the first pitch, pops that one up. Lots of room over there in foul territory. Franco's over, and he makes the catch. So 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Jamie, some sad news today. Phillies fans probably know who that is, and if you don't, think back to the parade in 2008. That is Elvis, Pat Burrell's bulldog, who became the unofficial mascot of the 2008 team, your team that won the world title. Well, Elvis died today. Pat called the Phils Frank Koppenbarger earlier today to let him know that that Elvis had passed away, and there he was riding the first float in the parade. What a day it was. Halloween 2008, and you know, you spent a lot of time at the ballpark. I know you spent some time with Elvis.
Elvis was a part of the team.
Yeah.
In the clubhouse every day. Guys had a lot of fun with him. He was very comfortable in there as well.
We certainly sad news. You never want to hear that.
Anybody that has owned a pet,
yeah,
when you lose a pet, it's not very easy.
But you know, the fact that Pat called Frank Koppenbarger, that was line foul. Just to let him know this morning. Just goes to show you what Pat thought about his dog being a part of that team as well. He wanted Frank to let the team know, the guys that have been around, the guys in the clubhouse, guys like yourself. And I'll never forget that scene of Elvis up there on that first float. Well, it's 0-2 right now to Derek Norris, who singled in his first at bat. That pitch is outside for a ball. It's 1-2. Let's try to bring that one back over the plate. It's a bit outside. So 1-2 now to Norris. Ground ball, third base. Franco waits for it. Fires across the diamond. A little low, but Ruff is there to pick it out, and that's the second out of the inning.
Well, Murph, that first out would not have been an out if we were in most ballparks.
No.
That ball would have been in the stands. So
been 10 rows deep in the stands in most ballparks. Eric Sogard is the batter, the 9-hole hitter for the A's. He also singled, knocked in a couple of runs in the second inning. 223 on the season, just 1 home run. Big wide stance, as you pointed out earlier. Kind of a singles hitter. He fouls that one, and Franco's going to give chase. So is Freddie Galvis. Franco on the run and makes the catch. So there you go. Getting some free outs with this extra foul territory, and if you can cover the ground like Maikel Franco can, you'll be able to get some of those. So a good inning for David Buchanan. A's up by 2.
Hey fans, before the game we held our ballpark hoppers pop-up contest on
The fans trivia question answer. So the question was, which 3 former Athletics managers are in the Baseball Hall of Fame? And Jamie, I thought you'd get the first 2 pretty quickly and then have to think about the third. And I was right about that. So what have you come up with so far?
Well, I've got Dick Williams.
That's right.
And Tony La Russa.
That's right. La Russa going in this year. So that's 2. And then I told you that you have to think a little bit think about the history of those Oakland Athletics. Or just, I should say, the Athletics.
Philadelphia A's.
Okay. You're on to something. That one's fouled back.
It's a little bit before my time, Murph. I know I'm old, but.
Del Franco is the batter. Here in the 5th. Yeah, I know that, but I think if you give it a little thought. Pitch to Franco. Line foul. So it's 0-2 to Maikel Franco. Okay, think about this. Oh, well, they've already given you the buzzer.
It's all right.
There was a ballpark in Philadelphia named after this guy.
Connie. Man.
How about that?
Wow. Yeah.
Going to go back in time as Franco's down swinging. Fooled on that pitch. How about this? So I told you there was a hint in the notes, but you weren't able to find it quick enough.
You didn't. Yeah.
Well,
you told me right before we went back on the air.
Take a look at the numbers, but 60 years ago today, September 19th, 1954, the Philadelphia Athletics played their final home game of the season. It was a 4-2 loss to the Yankees at Shibe Park. And it turned out to be their last game in Philadelphia ever. 60 years ago today is the anniversary of the A's final game in Philadelphia. And ironically, they're playing their first game against the Phillies here out in Oakland. Now, they left Philadelphia. They went to Kansas City and then out to Oakland after that. So, but they were, some of the old-timers at the ballpark love to tell their athletic stories. I love listening to them because they're a pretty good team. They were a very good team early on in their franchise history. So there you have it. Connie Mack is the third answer. You seem unimpressed.
Honestly, I don't think I would have gotten it.
Really?
No.
Okay. Well, I probably wouldn't have either if I hadn't seen it.
Just being honest.
0-2 pitch to Freddie Galvis is fouled back. I will say that I had a couple folks on Twitter, as soon as I asked the question, shoot me the answer. All 3 of them got them right. So kudos to those folks. So fans have not been stumped. Jamie. Freddie Galvis slaps that one to first base. It's the second out of the inning. Well, that'll bring up Ben Revere. Now take a look at the 2 franchises. Their all-time record. You see there, World Series titles. There's Connie Mack, Tony La Russa, the 2 Hall of Famers. Jimmy Fox. That was from 1901 to 1954 back then. And then Mark McGwire, you see there.
Gave up a couple of those 363.
To Mark?
Yes.
First pitch to Ben Revere is outside for a ball. It's 1-0.
Mark McGwire used to kid me when we would play them. He said, I'm not going to take batting practice today. I'm just going to go inside and hit Nerf balls because that's what I feel like when I'm facing you.
And you took no offense to that, I'm sure, right?
No, do nothing but laugh.
Lester working against Ben Revere. 2 outs in the 5th inning. And that pitch is over for a strike. Revere for 2 tonight. He struck out in the 1st. He lined out in the 3rd. Just haven't really been able to get anything going. Getting their only run on the solo home run by Ryan Howard. Swung on and fouled. It's 3 hits. A's only have 4 hits, but a couple walks mixed in that big 2nd inning where they were able to score some runs. So that's why they've got the 2-1 lead. Starting to hear this Oakland crowd a little bit. They're anticipating Lester with the 2-2 count. Perhaps a strikeout coming. Ben Revere has other ideas. Lester has his sign. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Ben Revere. Swung on, line drive, just in between the shortstop and the third baseman, and that's a base hit out in the left field. So Revere is a 2-out base runner, his first hit of the night.
Number 51, Carlos Ruiz.
And that'll bring up Carlos Ruiz, who is 0 for 1. Chooch walked, struck out. Take another look. Nice piece of hitting.
Yeah, Ben gets a cutter and just fights it off. And the cutter's just a little bit slower than John Lennon. His cutter's a little slower than his fastball, and he stays with it and just shoots it through the left side of the infield for a base hit.
We mentioned that Ben has 47 stolen bases so far this season. Wants to get to 50. Publicly, he's already talked about that. John Lester not real good at holding runners on, and Derek Norris not real good at throwing guys out. So a good situation for Ben to try to advance, get himself in a scoring position with Carlos Ruiz. So if you're Chooch, you take a couple pitches, let Ben maybe try to get into scoring position.
Well, there's 2 outs, so I mean, you don't want to get too deep in the count here.
That one's over for a strike. So you're saying if Ben's going to move, he's going to have to move quickly.
I think if he's going to go, he's going to go in the first couple pitches.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
John Lester was exposed a little bit in his previous outing where he gave up 4 stolen bases.
Pitch is inside for a ball. It's 1-1. Yeah, he's not known for being able to hold guys on, but you put that in with Derek Norris, who's not real good at throwing guys out, to say the least. And Ben leaves too early, and now they've got him caught up, and he is out at second base. So he was thinking stolen base, but he went too soon, and he is caught stealing instead. So Lester steps off and gets the out at second base, and Phillies run themselves out of an inning. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th. They trail by 2. Good citizenship brought to you by Citizens Bank. And since 2007, Cradles to Crayons has served nearly 100,000 children living in poverty with everything they need: clothes, shoes, books, toys, and school supplies to feel warm, safe, and ready to learn. To make your donation or volunteer your time, visit www.cradlestocrayons.org. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank. Good banking is good citizenship. Bottom of the 5th. A's with the 3-1 lead. Top of the order for the A's, Coco Crisp, 1 for 2 on the night. First pitch from David Buchanan. It's on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Your thoughts on David Buchanan Jamie, so far in this one?
Well, other than the second inning when the A's put up a 3 spot, I think he's thrown the ball pretty well. That was his 59th pitch there. Right there, that was his 60th. He's got 4 first pitch outs. 1-2-0 count, no 3-2 counts, 15 out of 19 first pitch strikes to hitters. Yeah. 8 of 18 batters, 3 pitches or less, 5 flyouts, 3 groundouts, 4 strikeouts. The other thing that I think is good, and I like that right there, no 2 pitch where somebody's got to move their feet. That constitutes potential uncomfortable at bat. In the month of September, 63% of his outs have come via the ground ball.
That's a great sign for a guy like David Buchanan, because that's the way he's going to have to pitch in his major league career. Not going to overpower you, but keep you guessing, keep you a little bit off balance.
Yes.
Get guys rolling over on ground balls, and
when
he's going to have success.
First came up in May, 47% of his outs came via the ground ball. Then in June it was 52. Then in July it was back to 47. August was 57. And like I said, as far in September, it's 63%.
Well, he gets the called third strike on the outside corner to Chris, so the first out in the 5th inning is a strikeout. Don't forget, Fan Appreciation Day coming your way Sunday, September 28th at 1:35 versus the Atlanta Braves. All the fun and surprises of a traditional Phillies Fan Appreciation Day. Citizens Bank Park Fathead with the 2015 schedule free to all fans. Order your tickets now at Phillies.com. So Sam Fuld is the batter for the A's here in the 5th. Fuld lined out, struck out. Over for a strike. It's 1-1 to Fuld. Just to finish thoughts on David Buchanan, that second inning, he allowed what, five hits in that inning and a walk. None of the balls were hit real hard. A couple of flares here and there, a couple seeing eye singles right back up the middle.
Yeah, it's, you're right.
Snowballed on.
They haven't been hit hard, but they bunched them together.
Yeah,
and that's what allowed them to score the 3 runs. And like you said, you mix in a walk there. Walks are never good,
no,
unless you're trying to take advantage of a count or a situation to set up a double play. But a walk in the middle of a couple of hits is not a good thing.
Well, that one's hit hard, but it's hit right at Maikel Franco down there at third base. Had them played perfectly, and that's the second out of the inning. So every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. It's your home for the most live sports. And David Buchanan was able to do that in the first inning, 1-2-3. Also in the 4th inning, 1-2-3. Has a chance here in the 5th. First pitch to Josh Donaldson. He's been diving a little bit. Out. Tying inside for a ball. Casey Donaldson, the ground out, fly out. He's had a great year. 27 home runs, 95 RBIs for the A's. And he swings and hits that one deep to center field, but and Revere goes back, and it is a big ballpark, and he's got some room and makes the catch out there in center field. So another 1-2-3 inning for David Buchanan. We're headed to the top of the 6th, with the A's still holding on to that 2-1 lead.
getting close to finishing out one of the best individual seasons of his career. After missing almost the whole first month of the season, Cole returned and was determined to make up for lost time. Month by month, Cole got stronger and on the mound stingier with runs as the summer heated up. 28 starts later, his ERA is at 2.47, the lowest mark of his career. Hamels is quietly approaching 200 innings in this impressive season. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless.
Well, Cole Hamels certainly deserves that honor this week. Really, most weeks this season, you probably could have tipped your cap and given that to Cole. We won't see him here in Oakland. He'll pitch the first game of the Miami series, the final leg of this long road trip, final road trip of the season for the Phillies. First pitch to Carlos Ruiz, swung on, fouled, it's 0-1. Hamels was his typical dazzling self in San Diego. He loves to pitch there. The Phillies get a win there. Chooch lifts that one into shallow right field, coming hard. Boldy makes the catch. Many packages to choose from, including full season, 17-game, and 14-game plans. We're talking about Phillies 2015 season tickets. Deposits are currently being accepted. For more information and to secure your ticket plan for next year, visit Phillies.com/season tickets. One out in the 6th inning. Chase Utley will step in. Chase had a single back in the 1st, grounded out in his other at bat in the 4th inning. Outside for a ball, 1-1, excuse me, 2-0 to Chase Utley. You told us what you thought about Buchanan. What about Lester? He doesn't appear as sharp as maybe you would expect, but still has a 2-run lead in this game.
Yeah, well, he's really utilized all of his pitches, but mostly his fastball and curveball. He's now starting to sprinkle in some more cutters, and he's sparingly thrown a couple of changeups.
Gets that one over the outside corner for a strike. So now 2-1 Chase Utley. We showed you his numbers at the beginning of the game, not only for the season, 15-10 with an ERA about 2.5, but since coming over to Oakland, he won his first 3 starts since coming over to Oakland. He's 5-3. That one is fisted out in the left field. Brandon Moss is right there. Second out of the inning. Well, back to the 4th inning. And Ryan Howard did not miss this pitch as he hits one deep over the center field wall. Coco Crisp can only look up and watch that one clear the wall with that home run. One tree was planted by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phillies, PHS, and Aramark. Home Run for Trees is part of a project to restore the region's tree coverage. For more information, visit Phillies.com. Red goes green. Howard swings and fouls that one off. It's 0-1 to Ryan Howard here. So he accounts for the only run in this game. The Phils. That one is fouled back. It's 0-2 now to Ryan Howard. So Howard struck out in his first at bat, homered in his second. He's down 0-2 right now to John Lester. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Outside for a ball. It's 1-2. Check swing. Lester wants a new ball. Marlon Byrd waits on deck. the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball down first base. Fielded by Vogt. Flips over to Lester covering. And that's the third out of the inning. So an easy inning for John Lester. 1, 2, 3. And the Phils still trailing 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. By Budweiser. Here's the Budweiser. Here's the baseball. And by Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. Bottom of the 6th. A's with that 2-run lead. Their big designated hitter steps in. Adam Dunn. First pitch is over for a strike. Dunn was hit by a pitch, we think, in his last at bat. At least he took his base. He also singled. It's a little low for a ball. It's 1-1. Dunn came over midway through near the trade deadline over to the A's. Homered in his first at bat as an Oakland A.
I think there's been some hint about retirement for him as well.
He has said that publicly, that he thinks this will be his last year. He's done some damage in his career. Look at that, 462 home runs, 4th on the active list. That's why you have to be careful with him. And I think Buchanan loses him, walks him, so that's a leadoff base runner. He's pretty much good for a walk, a strikeout, or a home run. Adam Dunn when he's up there. We mentioned what a good guy he is in the clubhouse as well. All things that are important, especially for a team trying to chase down a wild card spot. So Brandon Moss is 0 for 2 tonight. And takes his lead off first. Ground ball right to Darren Ruff, who steps on the bag, and now he's got Dunn tied up, and he tracks him down and tags him out. So a double play for the Phils, and that'll help out your pitcher any day of the week. Nice play by Darren Ruff down there at first. Take another look. Easy play. Step on the bag. Was going to make the throw. Then Dunn decided to start his way back. And at that point, Dunn not known for his speed.
Darren gets a nice big hop. It comes right up to him and does what he's supposed to do, go after him. And usually base runners have an idea. All right, I'm out here. You know, there's going to be a throw to second base. That's why Dunn stopped. But Dunn's not very fleet of foot.
That's
so
correct.
No reason for him to hurt himself or anybody else trying to get a run down.
So that double play helps out David Buchanan. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Stephen Vogt is the batter. He walked and scored a run. He also struck out in this game. Vogt comes up to bat, you look at the fans out there in right field, they just sit there and jump up and down. That's what they do. Feel the crowd getting into it a little bit. Not sure why they do that, but they do. Vogt lofts that one into left field. Grady Sizemore back in front of the track, and he makes the catch. So David Buchanan threw another inning, just 3 batters in that inning. The double play helped him out. And the Phils head to the top of the 7th. They still trail by 2. Time now for your local Honda dealers game summary. As we head to the top of the 7th inning, 3-1 is your score. Ryan Howard, the only run for the Phils, that solo home run back in the 4th inning. David Buchanan, you see his numbers. He's pitched well. Had 1 bumpy inning. That was the 2nd. That's when A's were able to string together some singles. And you see Norris and Sogard and Chris all with RBIs in that inning, and that's where we stand. It's 3-1 in the top of the 7th. As Marlon Byrd steps in and fouls that first one past the third base bag and foul. And it's 0-1 now to Marlon Byrd. It's a sellout here tonight at the O.Co Coliseum. 35,067 fans here. A quiet 35,067 fans as Byrd takes that one inside.
You know, Murph, as we sit here, I don't think I've ever seen that upper part of the center field section. I didn't know they had lights up there in that section. I never have seen people sit up there.
They appear to be suites of some kind.
Right? Obviously, they're used for football.
Right.
But very big crowd here for Oakland tonight.
Inside. Little appeal. Nope. Let's say he went around. So Marlon Byrd is charged with the strike there. It's 1-2. Yeah, those stands didn't used to be there.
No, actually, it was a big berm. Back in the day, it used to be a big berm, and the seats went all the way across center field.
Like you said, they put those seats in for football. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Foul. They put them in for football, and you know, football is played in this ballpark left to right, or you know, foul pole to foul pole, and so those are the luxury suites for the Oakland Raiders. To share this field. There's the 50-yard line. Behind pitcher's mound. It's the last of a dying breed, the multi-purpose stadiums like this. It's outside for a ball, so it's 2-2 now to Marlon Byrd. What they say they call the stands out there? Mount Davis?
That's what it's called. Yeah, that section's called Mount Davis.
I guess you used to be able to see the hills back there, or it used to be the berm. And can't see that anymore, so Mount Davis. Now there's to Al Davis, longtime owner of the Oakland Raiders. That one is fouled back by Byrd.
Well, Mount Davis is on the berm.
Yes.
And then there were flowers and great big sound system out there, and you could walk all the way around.
It's a pretty cool ballpark, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is. It's about 58 degrees right now.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball to shortstop. Larry has it. Fires across. So that's the first out of the inning, and it brings us to our Hyundai defensive plays of the game. They have it back in the first inning, back to back. First one was Darren Ruff showing his ups. A line drive right there by Sam Fold, and then Donaldson hit one past the third base bag, and Franco. Nice play right there, Jamie, by Franco, showing off his arm.
Yeah, he's showing a lot of range.
Yeah.
To his right and to his left on some hard hit balls here recently.
They are your Hyundai defensive plays of the game. Grady Sizemore steps in. He walked and he struck out in this game. First pitch to Sizemore's on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Now Franco's been real good in the field. He hasn't found his stroke yet offensively, and he started off slow this year in AAA, and then was able to turn it on. Now he's started off slow since being up here in the big leagues, but. Sizemore's low for a ball. It's 1-1.
Regardless of how he started up here in the big leagues, I really think that this opportunity is going to help him advance quicker. I don't know if he's going to go home and play any winter ball, but when he comes back to spring training, I think you're going to find somebody that's a lot further along than what we saw this year if he would not have been called up this September.
Yeah. And, for a team like the Phillies, where they are, they weren't officially eliminated on September 1st, but it was close, and they are now. And, it's a chance to see what the future is going to look like and who's going to be a part of it. That one's over the outside corner, 2-2. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's what Ryan Sandberg's looking at. That's what Ruben Amaro Jr. is looking at, and his staff. And you're not going to get all the answers in September. There's just not enough time, but you can get some answers. There's Cody Ashe. They've gotten a lot of answers on him. Like what he's been able to do, and you win with guys like Cody Ashe. He's a ball player, and I think they think the same thing about Franco. And
well, they're just going to have to figure out positions for them to play.
Yeah, there's a log jam over there at first base for sure. On third base, Cody and Franco got Darren Ruff in the first base mix with Ryan. That one is grounded foul past that first base bag. So. We say this every year, but the offseason is going to be very interesting for the Phillies. You see Bob McClure, who we didn't see earlier in the dugout. Rod Nichols went out and had a chat with David Buchanan early in the game. And there he is, next to Larry Bowa, Ryan Sandberg. 2-2 pitch to Sizemore, ground ball third base. Donaldson fires. That's the second out. John Lester now with 107 pitches on the night as he's pitched into the 7th inning with 2 outs. The out-of-town scoreboard. Toyota Mets over the Braves 5-0. That's a final. Doubled them up on hits. Atlanta 4-12 in September. That's not the way to lock up a wild card spot if you're the Atlanta Braves.
That's a team that's just crashed.
Yeah. Darren Ruff steps in, takes that first pitch outside for a ball. It's 1-0 to Darren Ruff.
And I'm sure they're baffled to why that has happened.
Swing and a miss. 1-1. Well, the Nationals did what they needed to do. They kind of ran away with the division here at the end. It took them a little while to put some room between themselves and the Braves and some of the other teams. The Marlins were hanging around for a little while there, but swing and a miss. It's 1-2 now to Darren Ruff, but the Nationals will be an interesting team in the postseason. I'm not sold on them yet. You see Lester's pitches inning by inning. Comes pitch 111 from John Lester and swung on, line drive to left field. Moss after it, but that one's going to fall and get all the way back to the warning track. Darren Ruff on his way to second, and he is in there sliding, so it's a double for Darren Ruff here in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Well, able to battle with 2 strikes on him and pull that one down the left field line for a double, his first hit of the night.
Well, we saw in the previous series against some of the lefties with their curveballs, Darren was swinging over them. That was a curveball that was out away from him. He was able to stay with it, let the ball come to him at the plate, and drives it down the left field line for a double. Nice at bat right there for Darren Ruff.
He's been good on this road trip. He's 5 for 13 so far on the road trip. A couple extra base hits. So here's Maikel Franco. Be a nice spot for him to deliver on a base hit. Takes that first pitch outside for a ball. 1-0 to Maikel Franco. Struck out both at bats. One looking, one swinging. John Lester's gotten the best of him so far, but he's got a chance with a runner in scoring position here. Showing a little signs of frustration is John Lester now. His pitch count is getting up there, so you see Gregerson warming up.
I think he's more frustrated at himself than anything else.
Yeah. He hasn't been real sharp as Franco gets that one in on the fist, and that's going to be an easy play for the shortstop Lowry, who catches it for the third out of the inning. So Lester, although not sharp, is able to battle through 7 innings tonight. That may be the end for him. We head to the bottom of the 7th, then the A's with that 3-1 lead. One lead, bottom of the 7th, and bottom of the order to face David Buchanan here in the bottom of the 7th. So Buchanan able to battle his way through tonight. Just that one inning, second inning that got him into some trouble. That's where the A's scored all their runs. A couple of hits, 5 hits actually, a walk in that inning. So bottom of the order though, 7, 8, 9 for the A's against Buchanan here in the 7th, and that pitch is swung on and hit well to right center field. Ben Revere on the run at the track, leaps, and it's off the top of the wall. So rounding second is Lowry, coming into third. Here comes the throw. He's going to be safe at third. And it's a leadoff triple for Jed Lowry. Looked like Ben Revere had a chance at that one. Maybe mistimed his jump a little bit, and would have been a great catch, but that one's off the top of the wall and a triple for Lowry. Take another look.
Doing back-to-back cutters. The first one was down and in off the plate. That one was elevated and was probably the inner third of the plate and just out of the reach of Ben Revere. Great effort right there, but just out of his reach. And ends up being a leadoff triple for Jed Lowry.
Yeah, I said mistimed his jump. He really did. He timed it pretty well. It just hit it off the top of his glove. So he had a long way to go for that one. Would have been a terrific catch up against the wall. Not to be, and Lowry ends up at third base with the leadoff triple. So that'll bring Bob McClure out to the mound to have a conversation with David Buchanan and the rest of the infield. Antonio Bastardo, the lefty, warming up now in the Phillies bullpen. Or delivers his message to Buchanan, which is what at this point, Jamie, do you think?
Well, I mean, ideally, you're trying to stay away from a big inning here. You're at a 2-run deficit. You don't want this thing to get it way out of hand and give up a couple runs here. So you got to go out. You got to focus on this hitter. If you can get yourself an infield pop-up, a strikeout, that would be ideal. But you're trying to get it out in some way, somehow here. If you give up a run, all right, you're down 3, but you get the bases are cleared.
He is against the bottom of the order here. 8-hole hitter, Derek Norris, who did single back in that second inning. Takes that first pitch outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Sogard is on deck, and then the top of the order, Coco Crisp.
And here's where sometimes it's hard as a pitcher because you don't have a history with these hitters because you don't see them very often.
Right. Swing and a miss. Count is even 1-1 now to Derek Norris. 269 on the season coming in.
And again, if you're playing in the National League, you have the pitcher on deck. Or in this situation, probably a pinch hitter.
Right.
But that's not the case.
A little different game. The infield is in on the corners and a little more than halfway in. Utley and Galvis.
I find it really interesting on deck. Eric Sogard, he's almost right behind home plate.
Yeah, I was thinking I actually just leaned forward to see where their on deck circle was.
That's really not right. If somebody would let the umpire know, I'm sure he would move him back over there. But hitters tend to slide over there and try to get a better look at the pitcher.
Why wouldn't I? It's pretty remarkable. It's amazing he's not in your shot right now. He is just out of frame.
He might as well just get in there. He might as well just get in the circle.
It's at that point, Jerry Meals down there, the crew chief at second base. I mean, he should be able to see that.
Well, I think the hitter's up there. He's looking for timing. He's also trying to track the ball. Even if you're on deck, you're trying to track the ball out of the pitcher's hand. And if anything, it's just a mental. You're trying to create a mental image. And the closer you can get, the more you can pick up. It just allows you mentally to be a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
But I've seen umpires stop a game and actually move players. I mean, Rhino could point that out as well. Chooch could point that out. Anybody could point it out. But if the Phillies are doing it too, they're not going to say anything.
Right. Here's a 1-2 pitch, and it's in the dirt, so it's 2-2. Yeah, we'll have to take a peek next inning and see. I hadn't noticed it before, but just as you said that, I think he's a little bit further out than most of the guys have been. So the count's even 2-2 to Derek Norris. See his numbers, RBIs from third base with less than 2 out. That's the situation we're in right now. Nobody out. Phil's trying to keep this a 2-run lead. Swing and a miss, and he got him. So a big strikeout.
Good changeup right there by David Buchanan in a big spot. Getting the first out, recording the first out of the 7th inning.
That was a big one. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. This photo is coming from A. Marie 005. It's the Phillies family at the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag Philly fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Young family at the Phillies game. Well, that'll bring up Eric Sogard. And with 1 out, Sogard base hit back in the second. He's also popped out to foul territory to Maikel Franco. The infield stays in. Ruff and Franco have their toes on the grass at first and third. Galvis is about even with the bag. First pitch is inside for a ball. Utley is now crept up onto the grass as well. So Phil's trying to cut off this run at home. Give Sogard an opportunity to kind of poke one through the infield if he's able to. Time is called. There's the 1-0 pitch. Over for a strike. It's 1-1. Buchanan trying to pitch himself around. A leadoff triple by Jed Lowry. Got Norris to strike out. Count is even right now to Sogard, 1-1. Carlos puts down the sign. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It squares around a bunt. It's a squeeze. Coming home with it is Franco. Then a tag is put on by Carlos Ruiz, and he is out at home plate. So a nice play by Franco, trying to squeeze him at home. And Carlos, plenty of time, really, to put the tag down. Interesting strategy by the Oakland A's. Does not pay off. Franco shows how quick he can be down there at third. You see, we mentioned that he was in at the corner, and he breaks right away, and that ball was really bunted much too hard.
Well, and Franco caught that ball early, and I mean, he read that early. He was coming down the line with the base runner. I think it was more of a safety squeeze, but the ball was bunted in the air, and I think, you know, base runner at third base is like, you know, I'm not sure if I can go here. And it was bunted a little hard. Mikel picked it up on one hop.
So Sogard's down there at first base, safe on the fielder's choice, but the big out at home plate is what the Phillies needed. The infield goes back to regular depth, and David Buchanan now can see himself out of this. He's 0-1 to Coco Crisp. Hot shot right to first base, but foul ball, according to Jordan Baker down there at first base. Aaron Ruff caught that right on the bag. It would have been the third out of the inning as he stepped on the bag as he caught it, but ball was fouled. No argument from Ryan Sandberg or Darren Ruff, so tough to tell from our angle if that crossed the bag or not. I guess it did not. So Buchanan's ahead of Coco Crisp, 0-2.
When you want to keep him on the side, he's a .235 hitter hitting left-handed with only 4 home runs.
The 0-2 pitch is high for a ball. It's 1-2. Some action down there in the Phillies bullpen. Told you about Bastardo warming up. Justin DeFreitas also baseball in his hand and started throwing, but David Buchanan trying to pitch around the triple to start the inning, and runner was going on the pitch, and it's singled into right field, so we're going to have runners at the corners now. First and third with 2 outs. Is Coco Crisp able to put that one into the hole? Nice piece of hitting by Coco Crisp, and with 2 outs, 2 on now for the A's.
Yeah, again, we talked with these Oakland hitters. They get 2 strikes on them. All of a sudden, their approach changes a little bit. Coco gets a curveball here, down and actually almost down and in, and Coco stays right on it and pulls it in the hole between first and second base.
And you see the frustration on David Buchanan's face, because he knew he had a chance to get out of the inning without allowing any more damage, but the base hit by Coco Crisp is going to end the night for David Buchanan. Ryan Sandberg's out to the mound. We have a pitching change here in Oakland. We'll be right back.
you by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com today to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. So pitching change. Antonio Bastardo is in the game for that man. David Buchanan leaves the game 6 2/3 with runners on first and third. Visibly frustrated when he was coming out of the game. As we talked about, had it not been for that second inning, pitched fairly well. He battled tonight. But Antonio Bastardo is your new pitcher. Antonio's numbers: ERA of 4.11 in his 64th game. So it'll be the left-hander Bastardo against the left-hander Sam Fuld. Ryan Sandberg deciding that this is the matchup that he wants to try and get out of the 7th inning.
It'll be nice to see Antonio come in here and set Sam Fuld down and keep this game at a 3-1 game.
Still very much in reach for the Phils. Still 2 more at bats to go for them, but yeah, 2-run lead is significantly different than a 3-run lead at this point. Games. Sam Fuld, on the other hand, will try to put this ball somewhere where the Phils are not. Add to the A's lead. So he steps in. Bastardo gets his sign. The first pitch is in the dirt. Nice play by Carlos Ruiz to keep that one in front of him. That was about a 58-footer right there from Antonio Bastardo.
And Carlos does a good job. That ball was so short, it came up. It was a big hop. You actually saw Carlos try to go down, and then he had to almost stand up to get out of his haunches to block that ball.
I said 58 feet. I think I was being a little generous. It might have been about 54 feet.
So runners on the corner for the A's. Pitch to Bastardo's over for a strike. It's 1-1. 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th. One pitch, check swing foul. Antonio Bastardo is now ahead of Fuld, 1-2. Right-hander Josh Donaldson's on deck. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Antonio Bastardo. Ball outside low. It's 2-2. Sogard is at third. Safe on a fielder's choice. And Coco Crisp down there at first. Starter steps up. From the stretch. 2-2 pitch. Ball. Full count now. Sam Fuld. Darren Ruff telling Bastardo that he's not going to hold on the runner at first base. There you see Donaldson on deck. This may be the only batter that Antonio Bastardo is going to face. So
you're exactly right, Murph.
Justin DeFreitas is down there in the bullpen watching the developing action out on the field. So Crisp will be off from first. Has his sign. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Outside for a ball, only one. So the bases are loaded now in the 7th inning. 2 outs. And Ryan Sandberg has made his way up to the top step, having a conversation with Bob McClure. And that's going to do it for Antonio Bastardo. So he came in, faced the lefty, and got ahead of him, but then lost him. Walked him on a full count. So it's been a call to the bullpen. Justin DeFreitas will be asked to come in and get the Phils out of this 7th inning. Pitching change here in Oakland. Bases loaded for the A's. We're coming back right after this. Loaded, and it's time now for your timeless moment, brought to you by Coors Banquet. We'll take you back to 1959 when Richie Ashburn breaks the club record for hits with a 7th inning single and a loss to the Braves at Connie Mack Stadium. Ed Delahanty had previously held that record. It was then broke by Mike Schmidt and then broken by Jimmy Rollins this year, but that's on this date back in 1959. Justin DeFreitas is the new pitcher coming into his 51st ball game of the year. 3-1, an ERA of 2.52, and a difficult spot for DeFreitas. No room to put Josh Donaldson. Bases are loaded. Right-hander has his sign and delivers. First pitch swinging, popped him up. Over to the third base side. Freddie Galvis calls off Franco and makes the catch. So 1 pitch by Justin DeFreitas, and he gets the Phils out of the 7th inning. The A's leave them loaded. Justin DeFreitas getting the job done for David Buchanan. We're going to the 8th.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to Diamond Vision. It's the old
3-1 is your score. Time now for Major League Notebook, brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy University. I'll handle this, James. It's all right.
You do this so well.
Clayton Kershaw won his 20th game of the season tonight, and it's big news in L.A. because the Dodgers are able to clinch a playoff berth. Now, not the division, but they are definitely in the postseason. They're still waiting to clinch that division, but a big win for Clayton Kershaw. Gave us some runs in the first inning. Was able to settle down and get the win in that one. And two guys that you'll probably hear a little bit about in the next couple of years. It is Tyler Glasgow and Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant of the Cubs and Glasgow of the Pirates have been chosen as MLBpipeline.com's 2014 hitting prospect and pitching prospects of the year. In the Cubs system, and they have a lot of young players coming up through their system, and both of those young guys had some terrific seasons down there in the minor leagues, and they get recognized for that. And that is your Major League Notebook tonight, brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy University. Luke Gregerson is the new pitcher for the A's, coming into his 68th game of the year. And the first one to face him will be Freddie Galvis, batting left-handed against the right-handed Gregerson. Galvis 0 for 2 tonight. Flew out to right field, grounded out to first base. Pitch is over for a strike. It's 1-1. Not a whole lot of offense for the Phils tonight, which has been a recurring theme, especially on this road trip. That one is lined in the left field, and it's going to be trouble, and over the head of the left fielder and up on top of the wall. Freddie Galvis will cruise into second, so a leadoff double for Freddie Galvis, and that may get some things started for the Phillies right off the end of the bat.
Freddie drove that ball very nicely to left field over left fielder Moss's head. Actually, that ball seemed like it carried here.
Yeah, it really did.
It's a breaking ball. He stays through it, and he doesn't try to pull it. He looked like he was trying to drive that ball to left center field, and ended up hitting it over Moss's head for a double, leadoff double.
Well, that'll bring up Ben Revere, who singled in his last at bat, 1 for 3 on the afternoon, or I should say evening, late in the evening on the East Coast, early mid-evening here in the West Coast. First pitch to Ben is outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Yeah, 2 minutes from midnight on the East Coast. Galvis takes his lead off second. It's outside for a ball. It's 2-0 now to Ben Revere. Night game here in Oakland tonight, but the next 2 games, Saturday and Sunday, Jamie, 1 o'clock starts here, so 4 o'clock Eastern time. We're watching back in Philadelphia. Hope you are. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's over for a strike. It's 2-1. 2 more games in Oakland, and the Phils will fly back east, and 3-game series with the Miami Marlins starting on Tuesday, an off day on Monday in Miami for the team, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's games down in Miami, then 3 more against the Atlanta Braves. Put a wrap on the 2014 season. Gregerson steps off. Carlos Ruiz on the on-deck circle right now for the Phils. Which finds the outside corner. It's 2-2 now to Ben Revere.
Been hitting .325 with guys on base this year with 24 RBIs and 5 doubles.
Fouls that one off the foot. You know, troubles he's had with his feet this year, and probably didn't feel very good. He'll walk that one off. He mentioned his RBIs. It seems to me over the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, he's really kind of kicked it up a notch. He was not knocking in a whole lot of runs early in the season, and over the last, the month of August and September, he's really probably had more chances than he's been able to deliver. He's got a chance right here in the 8th inning with Freddie Galvis leading off second. Gregerson from the stretch. 2-2 pitch, ground ball, second base. It's going to move the runner up. So Galvis is over there at third base now. Revere is out at first. That's the first out of the inning. But a productive out because you get Galvis over to third base. He could score on a wild pitch or even on a fly ball at this point. That'll bring up Carlos Ruiz.
Big run for the Phillies here.
Yeah.
They can push this across the plate. Score a run here, at least one run here in the 8th. Or put something together and start a little bit of a rally. But put a little pressure on the A's right now.
First pitch from Gregerson's over for a strike to Carlos Ruiz. It probably at this point doesn't take a whole lot to get the A's thinking, oh my goodness, here we go again. And they had troubles with their bullpen in the Rangers series that they just came out of, and Phil's putting on some pressure here. Gregerson's pitch is inside for a while. It was close. He didn't get the call, so it's 1-1 to Carlos Ruiz. And you see Sean Doolittle warming up. He's their closer. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And it's fisted foul over the Phillies bullpen and into the crowd. So now it's 1-2 to Carlos Ruiz. A fly ball gets you 1 run closer, cuts that lead to 1. As you said, a base hit really kind of gets the wheels turning for the A's and then where they're at. But right now, Gregerson has the upper hand on Carlos Ruiz. He's ahead in the count 1-2.
Oh, and that's the reason they have Doolittle on. Sense a little panic here with the Oakland A's.
You can almost understand that. Ruiz fouls that one straight back. Chase Utley's on deck. Left-hander. Doolittle is a left-hander, so might they go to their closer this early in the 8th inning?
Based upon what happens here, I think there's a good chance they go to Doolittle.
Bob Melvin trying to stop the bleeding. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Foul back. Look at that. They're in another one tonight. They are 3-11. Those close games since August 26th. 3-11. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball, third base. Donaldson comes home with it, and Galvis is out at home plate. Nice play by Josh Donaldson, who had to go to his left to make a solid throw to Derek Norris at home plate, and Galvis was out by a step and a half. So we saw the Phils do that earlier in the game. The A's were able to repay the favor. That is a huge out for Oakland.
Yes, that is a big out right there, and takes the guy in scoring position away from the Phillies. And Donaldson makes a very good throw here. Really had no chance.
Yeah, he got Galvis by Galvis was going on contact. There you see it. No controversy in terms of Norris blocking that plate. Galvis came up a little. I'm sorry, Norris came up a little yippy on that one. Like maybe he hurt his arm a little bit. Those catchers are tough, though. Look at the throw from Donaldson.
Oh, again, looks like he gave him a forearm to the neck.
Hey,
huh?
Well, that'll bring up Chase Utley. 2 outs. Runner down at first base now. First pitch swinging is Utley. Ground ball right to the second baseman. And the A's are going to get out of this inning. So Gregerson pitches around some trouble. The leadoff double by Freddie Galvis. And the Phils aren't able to push a run across. So we're going to head to the bottom of the 8th with the A's still holding on to that 2-run lead. Bottom of the 8th now. Phils trailing 3-1. And fans coming to Goya Latino Family Celebration when the Phillies host the Braves at 7:05 on Saturday, September 27th, are encouraged to bring food donations for Goya food products. Food drive will benefit Phil Abundance by helping with their effort to help families in need within the Latino community. Goya Foods has once again pledged to donate a minimum of 5,000 pounds of food to match the collected food products. So that's September 27th, Saturday night, when the Phils are taking on the Braves. Bottom of the 8th. Hits are even at 6 apiece, but the Athletics have the Phils where it matters, 3-1 in the run column. And Jake Diekman is the new pitcher for the Phils, trying to keep this at a 2-run deficit. Give the Phils a chance in their half of the 9th inning. First one to face him is Adam Dunn. First pitch is outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Dunn's been on base all 3 times tonight. Walk, single, a hit by a pitch. That one's inside for a ball, so it's 2-0 now. No, you disagree?
I thought that ball was a strike. He's not even offering at the ball. Number one, he can't hit it. But I mean, he's not even flinching.
And you see his numbers versus left-handed pitchers. He knows he's overmatched, so it's going to make Jake Diekman throw a strike, and he hasn't been able to do so far. So it's 3-0 now to Adam Dunn. Brandon Moss, Stephen Vogt, next two to face Jake Diekman, all left-handers. So this is Diekman's inning, at least for a little while. 3-0 pitch. That one's over for a strike. It's 3-1. Pitch over for a strike, so it's 3-2 now. Diekman battles back, gets the count full. against Adam Dunn. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball, first base. Fair ball and picked up by Darren Ruff in an easy play. So unassisted put out over there at first base. And nice job by Jake Diekman kind of battling back in that count. He was down 3-0, but he gets him to roll out to Darren Ruff.
Yeah, it was. He did, you're right, Murphy. He did fall behind 3-0. Came back with a fastball down the middle for a strike and into a slider that Dunn kind of flinched at a little bit. Got him to roll over on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
So Brandon Moss is the batter, 0 for 3 tonight. Fly out, strikeout. So grounded into a double play. First pitch is inside for a ball, so it's 1-0. Pitch. It's also inside for a ball. It's 2-0. Deke wants a different baseball. And Jake is in his stride and finding the strike zone and good with his command. He's as good as anybody in baseball. It does at times lose the strike zone. Here's the 2-0 pitch. It's inside for a ball, so it's 3-0 now to the second straight batter. See if he can battle back again. There's Stephen Vogt on deck. At that time, he's inside for a ball, so 4 pitches all inside. A's have a base runner with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Deke's working fast. But
he is. He's having a little trouble finding the strike zone here.
So Stephen Vogt, who walked in his first at bat, 0 for 2 tonight, also scored a run. Hitting an even .300 for the season, 9 home runs, 32 RBIs. Moss takes his lead off first and throw over. Vogt's inside for a ball. It's 1-0. 5 straight out of the strike zone.
No, and every ball that he's missed off the plate into these left-handed hitters. And it's time to make an adjustment. And either Chooch needs to move to the other side of the plate or mix in a couple of breaking balls.
So Bob McClure is going to go give him some words of advice. See Carlos chatting to Deke there too. So just a reminder, after this ball game, Phillies post-game live back in our Comcast Sportsnet studios. And tomorrow, Batman Jerome Williams will be the starting pitcher for the Phils here in Oakland. Done a real nice job for the Phillies since coming over. Picked up by the Phils after the trade to the Dodgers. Diekman steps off. Brandon Moss down at first. He walked. Vogt. 1-0 count. Deke's keeping his eye on Moss over there at first.
Who only has one stolen base.
I was going to say, I don't think he's a threat to run, but
you never know.
You never know. There's the 1-0 pitch. It's high and inside for a ball. It's 2-0 now to Stephen Vogt. Up in the Phillies bullpen. Brian Sandberg, Bob McClure, hoping and expecting Jake to kind of lock himself in. That one's over for a strike. It's 2-1. So 6 straight out of the strike zone. He's able to get the strike there. So it's 2-1 now to Vogt. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Jed Lowry waits on deck. Switch hitter. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Outside for a ball, so he walks him. Second straight walk by Jake Diekman. Runners on first and second. And that might get someone stirring down there in the bullpen. Jed Lowry will step in. He tripled his last at bat. Carlos Ruiz wants to have a chat with Diekman. Bob Melvin's team has lost 5 of their last 7 games. Seen their wild card lead trimmed from 11 down to 1. Trying to hold on in this one. First pitch to Lowry is breaking ball, and it's over for a strike. One pitch swung on a miss. It's 0-2 now to Jed Lowry. Batting right-handed. This would be a big strikeout for Deke if he can get it.
That would be a big inning for him if he come back and find it and finish this inning strong.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Outside for a ball. It's 1-2. I said I thought maybe the Phils would start to stir down in the bullpen. That hasn't happened, and maybe that's part of the thinking for Bob McClure and for Brian Sandberg at this point in the season.
He might have gone out there and said, look, this is your inning. You need to figure it out. When you watch him pitch, and he does fall off to the right. I think some of it, a lot of it, when he's not right, it's his hands. It's when he's breaking the ball's coming out of his glove, it's his hands.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Struck him out. So a big strikeout for Jake Diekman right there. And that's the second out of the inning. And he certainly can see himself through this now. 2 outs. Take another look at the pitch.
Yeah, you see a good fastball here down and away. You see that tempo. He starts his hands. I don't want to say they hitch up, but his leg comes up and his hands work with his lead leg. As his lead leg goes down, his hands go down. He separates his throwing hand from his glove, and it's all timing, it's all tempo. And when he's right, he has that, and when he's not right, he's kind of all over the map.
Well, time is called at home plate as Derek Norris steps in, but do have some action down there in the Phillies bullpen now, but not for Norris at this point. This is Diekman's batter right here. I was thinking, sooner or later, a young guy like Jake Diekman going to have to battle through some tough times, and maybe that's exactly what they're thinking. Let's see if he can figure it out after a tough start to the inning. If he finishes strong, it's a learning process. Be a better pitcher for him. So that pitch to Norris is on the outside corner, so he's ahead early. 0-1 to Derek Norris. You see, Norris has done some damage against left-handed hitters or left-handed pitchers this year. Runners lead off first and second. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
You know, and it's even very important and imperative for Jake Diekman to locate as well. Even though he throws hard and has a devastating slider, we've seen when he doesn't locate either one of those pitches, he does have the ability to get hit.
Lefty has his sign. The 0-2 pitch fouled off. So we'll do it again.
And those last two sliders he's thrown to Norris right there. The previous one was a slider down and in that he just swung over, and that one he swung over it as well and pulled it foul.
So he come back with that again.
You know, and he can do whatever he wants in my book. You know, he can throw a fastball away. He can elevate a fastball in. I think would be a very effective pitch.
Just don't leave it out over the plate. That's what you're saying.
More or less.
He gets his sign from Carlos Ruiz. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Chopper back to Diekman. Tough play. Turns and fires and safe at first base. Deke took his time making that throw down to first base, and give Norris some credit. He was hustling down the first base line. It was a high chopper. I think if Deke would have gotten rid of it a little quicker, he would have been able to get the out at first. Nonetheless, bases are now loaded. And Eric Sogard is going to be the batter. Take another look.
It was pretty high, but like he looked at third base for what reason, I'm not sure. And then kind of just nonchalantly spun and through.
So the bases are loaded. And Eric Sogard was the scheduled hitter, but a pinch hitter coming up. Johnny Gomes, the right-hander. Bat for Sogard. Gomes, of course, part of the trade that brought John Lester here. Sent Cespedes to Boston. His numbers pinch hitting this season, 5 for 22. Does have 2 home runs. So Diekman's got himself in a little bit of a jam, trying to work his way out of it. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Bases are loaded. A couple of walks. Chopper back to the mound. No place to put Johnny Gomes. First pitch. Fastball outside for a ball, 97 miles an hour off the plate.
I gotta believe Gomes is thinking, he's got to throw a strike. I got to make him throw a strike.
Yeah. 1-0 pitch. There it is. Strike. It's 1-1. Hayes would like to add to their lead. It's 2 right now. Phillies will have one more chance. League trying to keep it that way, and that pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. So it's 1-2 now to Johnny Gomes.
Seeing a little more aggression right now from Jake Diekman. A little more urgency.
Adrenaline is flowing at this point. No doubt about it. He gets his sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Low for a ball. It's 2-2. Pretty good eye by Johnny Gomes on that pitch.
Sure is.
Just a hair low.
You can see that one from the side.
It was on the plate. He's at the knees, maybe a little below. So here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on. Wow. Fouled. Just over the head of the third base coach. It's Mike Gallego down there. That one got over his head in a hurry.
He doesn't have far to duck, Gallego. He's a rather short guy. Great player, by the way.
We'll do it again. Count is 2-2. Base is full of athletics. Time's called. 35,000 plus here at Coliseum, making some noise. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Inside for a ball. It is 3-2. So a full count to Johnny Gomes. And now you'll hear all 35,000.
They're all rising to their feet.
Dinkman has the sign. The 3-2 pitch. Over the inside corner, called third strike. Gomes didn't like it, but Deke is able to work his way out of a jam. The A's leave him loaded. That pitch found the inside corner, says Chris Conroy, and the lead stays at 2. Phillies one more chance. They trail it 3-1. We head to the top of the 9th. You have to go all the way back to the second inning for this one. And, well, the first one is Derek Norris, base hit. Drove in a run. Then right after him, the 9-hole hitter, Sogard, delivers with a base hit. And then the top of the order, Coco Crisp back up the middle. That's going to score a run. All 3 runs scored in that second inning. And that's where we stand. 3-1 right now in the top of the 9th. They are your W.B. Mason deliveries of the game. And the closer for the Oakland A's, Sean Doolittle, in the game. Hard-throwing left-hander. Coming into his 58th game of the season. Sean Doolittle, a local guy from South Jersey. Went to Shawnee High School in South Jersey. Still lives in Tabernacle, New Jersey in the offseason.
Pretty good numbers right there. 57 2/3 innings. 37 hits, 83 strikeouts.
Been very good, but he gave up a career-high 5 runs last night after going 15 games without giving up, or 15 innings, I should say, without giving up any runs. A blown save in that one. First one to face him is Ryan Howard. 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Howard swings and misses. Doolittle has 21 saves and 25 opportunities so far this year. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Ryan Howard, who has the only, delivered the only run for the Phillies tonight. It was a solo home run back in the 4th inning, straightaway center field off the starter, John Lester. But he's behind in the count here, 0-2. Tying inside for a ball. It's 1-2 now to Lester, or to Ryan Howard. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and hit well. Right center field, but Sam Foldown's beat on it. That's your first out of the inning. So a line drive out to Fold in right field. 1 out. Phillies down to their final 2 outs. Doolittle has just overpowered hitters this year. He's struck out 83 batters in 57 2/3 innings so far this year. He's walked just 7. It's a pretty good ratio. Something you'd like to see out of your closer. Marlon Byrd will step in. Byrd is 1 for 3 on the night. First pitch to Byrd is inside, and they appeal the swing. No swing, so it's 1-0. Swing and a miss. 93. 1-1 now to Marlon Byrd. Ground ball, third base. Sliding play by Donaldson. Up and throws across the diamond. Great stretch by Vogt, and he got Marlon Byrd by a step. So a nice play by Donaldson down at third base. And over there at first by Vogt as well, and that's the second out of the inning.
Well, you see Donaldson go down to his knees, makes a sliding stop, and gets up and makes a very strong throw across the diamond. That is a very nice play.
Yeah. Sets his feet. Man, strong arm. Give Marlon credit. He was hustling the whole way down the line.
Yes, he was.
Just beats. So there's 2 outs. That'll bring up Grady Sizemore. First pitch to Sizemore is high for a ball. It's 1-0. Crowd is on their feet. The O.co Coliseum. 1-0 pitch. Ball. So 2-0 now to Grady Sizemore. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Low for a ball, so it's 3-0 to Sizemore. Trying to get himself on base, bring the tying run to the plate. Being the person with Darren Ruff is in the on-deck circle right now. 3-0 pitch to Sizemore is over for a strike. Brady taking all the way. It's 3-1. Pitch swung on, lifted in the left field, shallow left field. Coming in for it is Moss, and makes the catch in foul territory, and that's going to do it for the Phillies. The A's hold on. Sean Doolittle gets his 22nd save of the year, and the fans here in Oakland have breathed a collective sigh of relief as their team finds themselves on the winning side of things tonight against the Phillies. They got all their runs back in the second inning, but that would be all they would need. John Lester, player of the game. He got the start for the Oakland A's, Jamie, and he does, tonight, not as sharp, but does what he does, and he was able to keep this team in the game.
Yeah, he was very aggressive with his fastball. He had pretty good command with it when he needed to make pitches. The Phillies did force him to throw a lot of pitches early, but when he really needed to make outs or get outs as well, he threw his curveball, and it was very effective. That's why he's our Chevrolet player of the game.
So there you see it. Oakland A's out hit the Phils 7-6. They win this one 3-1. We'll put a wrap on it when we come back.